Welcome back to the garage, and today I am back on this HP Omen 25L, and I recently acquired this when a customer tried to drop this off for repair, claiming it was a computer that I sold them, and it wasn't. They tried to scam me for a free repair, and yeah, that's not cool. I was able to protect myself in the sense that I take pictures and I document every build, specs, all that stuff, and even the serial numbers, and when I brought that to their attention, they were like, oh yeah, oops, my bad, whatever. So after exposing their attempt to get a free repair, which, side note on that, if he would have asked me, I would have taken a look at it, because number one, could have done a video, that would have been cool, but considering that he thought he could pull a fast one on me, it is what it is on that. But anyways, I did offer to repair it. I said, I'll charge you a $60 diagnosis fee, this, that, and the other. He was like, yeah, sure, go ahead, take a look at it, I'll pay you, and whatever. Well, months went by. I sent documentation, legal information, all that stuff, part of the contract stating, hey, this is what you owe. If you want to pick it up, this is what you want to do. And I didn't clarify this enough in a previous video when I offered it, because he said, fine, go ahead. And I said, here you go, here's the contract. I have your property. This is how it's going to work. It's $60. If you don't pay it or you don't pick it up within the 30 days, it becomes abandoned property. That's how it works in my state. Every state varies. Know your laws, because they can protect you. And for those of you who kept on saying, well, that doesn't hold up in court, you can't do that, this is not my first rodeo. So, but in a nutshell, he forgot about it, didn't respond to any of my messages, and now I am the proud owner of this broken PC. So where I left off in the last video was trying to figure out what was exactly wrong with it, and we could not figure it out. Kind of give you a little specs. It's got a power supply, Cooler Master, which we tested does work. The M.2, 500 gigs. It does work. Single stick of memory, 16 gig. That does work. Graphics card, RTX 2060. We verified that does work. It has a 1 terabyte mechanical drive. And this case, the cool thing about it is it's not completely proprietary in that, well, we could change the motherboard. And we'll probably do that at the end of this video, so stay tuned in case you have one of these and want to change out the motherboard. We're going to learn together. But after going through various diagnostics, professional, probably hack job techniques, I was able to determine that either the motherboard or the CPU was bad. Well, I didn't have a 10th gen motherboard or a 10th gen CPU, so it was hard to confirm, but that's kind of where I left it at. So fast forward, found the cheapest motherboard that I can find on the eBay. It's the ASRock H470M. It's the VHS edition, because, you know, you watch VHS on it. No, definitely not. But I paid like $40 for it. It's ITX. It was like brand new. Seller said it does work. It looks brand new. I haven't tested it, and I've already had it in the garage for a week, but I guess that's how I did things. Got a few other things that I am going to test with it. Try a couple of suggestions that you guys made on it, and hopefully get a running computer by the end of this video. Now, before I dive in, let me address a couple of quick questions and concerns that people have. Number one, I am not a professional computer repair shop, computer builder, computer tech, by no means. In fact, my full-time job is like the total opposite spectrum of this type of stuff. I am just a guy who's been working on computers since he was a kid, 25 plus years of experience of breaking things, learning things, reading things, and then eventually I have enough to build computers for people. This is a side hustle. I do it out of my garage mostly to support my computer addiction and maybe pay a bill or two. Maybe. The alcohol method. A lot of people went cringe about me spraying alcohol and scrubbing it. I've been doing that for years. I've never had an issue. In fact, I've actually had more success with computers coming back to life, but I've never had a motherboard get damaged by the method. I know some people said, oh, you left the CMOS battery in there while doing that. That's never been an issue. I've never had an issue with it. In fact, people put the motherboards in dishwashers and ultrasonic cleaners and isopropyl alcohol. That's actually a lot safer and better. And also, and I know they didn't show that on the camera, I took out the CMOS battery, I let it dry, I let the motherboard sit out, blew it with the air blower, so it was completely dry. And no, that will not damage it if you do things properly. So with that being said, there was a couple of other suggestions and concerns about troubleshooting this motherboard. Let's dive into that now, and let's take this motherboard back out. I just put one screw to hold it in, so this should be easy. Or maybe I put two. Now let's go through my professional motherboard testing benchmarks. I got 3 different brands. I'm not sure which one will work for this size, so we'll just go with this one. That'll be fine. So now, 2 suggestions that were constantly mentioned in the comments. Number 1 was having a speaker so you can get the beep codes, since this don't have the debug LEDs. Well guys, it does have the speaker. This is it right here. And I got no SOS or anything like that, so probably not a good sign. The other thing people mentioned was changing the battery, which I didn't do. And they're alright. I actually have had experiences where these things are low voltage or they're really bad and they cause issues. So let's go ahead and see what the voltage is on it. Now these are supposed to be 3 volts. This is 2.9. You do have some variation on it. I doubt this is bad, but we'll try another one. We'll put it on the bench and we'll see. Maybe you guys were right about it. Alright, mostly got everything set up. This is the new battery. It's the Energizer, the CR2032, and man, these things are not cheap. But unfortunately, the Harbor Freight, they were sold out, so we have to use the good stuff. Let's pop this in. Just like so. Yeah, this is fine, this is fine. Even though it's not pushed down, folks, it's fine. Let's throw in the graphics card. We do know this works because in the previous video, we tested it. Alright, that's in, that's in. Now one of the red flags that we had was every time we threw power to this thing turned on automatically. Some people say sign of a bad CPU, others say sign of a bad motherboard. I don't know. I've had it happen both ways. Alright, let's plug this thing in and see what happens. And it's already turning on by itself. Maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. Let's give it a few more seconds. Same thing. Let's give it one more power cycle. Alright, short out the 2 pins. Nothing. So I'm going to leave that footage in, and if many of you caught that, I forgot to plug in the graphics card. I don't think it's going to make a difference. I think it's still going to act the same way, but yeah. Rookie mistake. Neighbor walked up and, well, I got distracted. So let's try this again. Same thing. Now in the comments people said, well, you only tried the HDMI port, but we tried this in another computer. It does work. And other people said, try the motherboard. Plug it into the motherboard, see if the graphics works there. But this doesn't have an iGPU and, well, it doesn't have provisions for that. So that's not going to work. I'm going to try one more thing and then we're going to move on to this new board. And the final comment that people said was, well, maybe this memory is bad or not compatible with the board. I know memory is good because it worked on the test bench, but we're going to try another stick of memory that I do know works. This is DDR2400. It should work just fine. We're going to put it exactly where it should go. I have tried all the different slots, same thing, but we're going to try a different stick of memory just to say we did. Once again, turning on by itself. And if you notice, we have no beeps. This thing does have the speaker for it built into the motherboard. Same thing, no difference. Let's recycle the monitor, turn it on, turn it off. Nothing. So I've ruled out graphics card, memory, power supply, the CMOS battery. Listening for the beeps. Yeah, I'm convinced it's either the motherboard or the CPU. So take your bets now. Put them in the comments box. Which one is it? Just loosen everything up. And I talked about these Torx screws, and someone in the comments said they love this Torx screw stuff for these motherboards. To each their own. I do have Torx bits and all that stuff, but I'm just being lazy. But then again, it'd probably be easier if I had the right tool and I just pulled it out. Yes, I know, no thermal paste, but it's fine. We're just testing. Thermal paste ain't cheap, folks. And gotta stock up. Alright, so this is our H470. This did not come with it. This is actually for the later part of the video, depending on what works or doesn't work. Got the manual, the instructions, a frisbee, the rear I/O, SATA cables, stuff you typically find. And look at the little guy. I mean, for $40, it's not a bad deal. I know some people just go crazy when they see an ITX motherboard and an MATX or ATX case. If it works, it works. Now, $40, this thing is like looking brand new. I mean, it did say brand new on the listing, but then it kind of listed it as used, but it says it works. No frills. I mean, nothing fancy. I mean, we don't even have coolers for the VR app, but we're not going to be overclocking with this. It's got the VGA, you know. 2 slots. So let's pop in our CPU, just like so. Take our memory. We are going to use this memory because it does work. You know, I just realized, unless I'm missing it, this motherboard does not have M.2 on it. What can you expect for 40 bucks? Now, as far as the cooler, I'm just going to drop this in. This is just enough to get a screen and not overheat it, so we're just going to put it loosely right there. This is just a quick test. We need to see if we get a video. And this is perfectly fine for the few seconds that we're going to run it. The graphics card goes back in. Now typically I just use a screwdriver, but it is really close to the USB header or something else header, and I don't want to take a chance that I slip and short something, so we're gonna, you know, eliminate that potential variable. This works. Alright, here we go. Take your bets. It's not turning on by itself. That's a good sign. It didn't turn on by itself. Come on. Do I have a video? Yeah. $10700F, 16 gigs of DDR4 memory. So folks, we have a dead motherboard. That is stinking awesome. So let me get my thoughts together. We'll come back and let's see what we do next. So it's actually a couple hours later as I was on the Facebook Marketplace and I found a pretty sweet deal. All this stuff right over here, yeah, $100. Some good stuff. Does it work? No, but you'll see that in an upcoming video. But now I'm back onto this. What I am gonna do is we're gonna take this motherboard and we're gonna pop it in that Omen case, get everything working, see how easy it is to do the case swap, and then take it from there. But just before I left, I went ahead and I popped off this thing. I mean, the glue they use is flipping. It's strong. It did not want to let go. Guess it has what is it, breakup issues, or it just didn't want to leave. But in doing so, I was taking a look at the back and I found the problem. Look at that. Water damage. It was hidden underneath. Focus. There was some green crusties on it. I scraped them off and I should have left that alone, but yeah. Either water, vape juice, not 100% sure, but taking a look at that, that seems to be potentially the smoking gun. But hey, it is what it is. But now we have this, so we can reuse the cooler, reuse all the components that came with it. So let's get to the case, let's pop it in, let's see how easy it is to swap the motherboard, if it even is possible. I believe it is. Haven't researched it or looked it up, but let's find out. And she's back. So now this is for the ASRock. This is, yep, that's for the HP board. Now a bunch of you guys comment that this is a GPU mount holder. I don't know if I'm going to reuse it, if I'm being honest with you. SATA cables. Alright, so now because of this motherboard I bought, we are going to lose a couple of features. We're going to lose the whole Wi-Fi action. That's a bummer. And what I'll probably have to do is just get an adapter or double-sided tape a SSD to this. We'll see, but I just want to get the motherboard in there. Unfortunately, that motherboard, it does not have M.2, and I didn't realize that when I bought it. That's probably why it was so cheap. So let's do the first things first, and rear I/O plate, maybe. So this black and red cable right over here is the power button, and I already see potential issues. I might have it, but these are short, so yeah, might have to extend these, which we could either cut it, just add wire to it. It's not too much of a big deal. The other thing, this is the USB one. Hopefully this is not short. I think we might have enough slack. Looking at it, probably not. More extensions. So I think if you're going to do this case swap, you're going to need to have some extension action going on. Well, if not case swap, motherboard swap. This will be fine for the CPU. Once again, the fan is short. So extensions, folks. Do I have the extensions for this video? Absolutely not. The only one I did kind of plan for was the HD audio. I did get one for that. But the important things will work. Power, VGA, potentially the SATA might work. It's doable, but they don't make it simple. So I guess let's just get started. Now I took off the mounting bracket for the factory HP Omen cooler. I'm going to slide that in just like so. If I can remember which way it goes properly. There we go. Perfect. Let's get some thermal paste. I'll slide you in right over here, just like so. Mostly everything should line up as far as the mounting holes, which they do, because it's a traditional motherboard. Power. As you can see, this is short. Let's see what I got. Now, I bought these, so this will work just for now, and we're color coordinated. These are just extensions. Now, the point of this is not to make a complete perfect build, but show proof of concept that you can do this. Now, the power goes right over here. mean, we could still make it kind of nice looking, right? Let's see. So now, this is for that RGB goodness, which technically we'd need another extension for it. We need an extension for this, which I think I have. So now that will, you know, we could tuck it there. We could go nice with this, but for now it works. Let's see. Our USB, that fits perfectly right over here, so that's good. As you can see, I did buy an extender. This one is for the audio. I didn't think to get one for the USB. Okay, extension that goes right over there. And where is the audio one? Does this not have front audio? Nope, this motherboard does not have front audio provisions. But if you did get a good motherboard and not a cheap one like I bought, yeah, that's what you need. So we're just gonna tuck that away right over there and just pretend it works. Now going through my rat nest of stuff, I don't have any extensions for the USB, which is a bummer because, well, maybe this might be tight. This is tight. It barely fits, but it's just enough to prove, you know, proof of concept. And if I think so, I could probably loosen this. And that might give me a little more, yeah, that gave me a little more slack. Not much. Yeah, it's a little better. It says lighting 2-pin, so maybe the power one? The question is, will it reach? Nope, more extensions. And we're just gonna go with colors that are not completely matching. Not sure what's negative or positive, but we'll find out when it doesn't work. Now for a storage drive, because this thing does not have M.2, which is rather unfortunate, we're going to go with this Team Group SSD, and I chose it for a very special reason. I had it lying around, and I didn't have to pay for it. I think it was pieced from another computer. We're just going to, you know, pop it there. So now we get that plugged in, power. These are powered up. Let's stretch this cable more than it was ever meant to. It's not terrible. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. Pop in our graphics card, which now gets moved down lower. Now power connector should fit perfectly, just like so. And we're golden. Oh, and on a side note, I did find the HD audio. It was right in front of my face. It's right over here, so can I get it in? Perfect. Let's see if we got power. Look at that. We got the LED RGB motherboards booting up. Let's get into the BIOS by pressing DEL 100 times. Oh, I think I got a copy of Windows in here. All right. It might be from a customer's computer. It might be from my personal. I don't like to give people's information out. So let me double check. We'll be right back. So as you can see, everything works. We got the RGB, the lights look good, graphics card looks good, the CPU works, the memory works. I've already done some stress tests off camera. You've seen me do it a bunch of times on different videos, but everything works. And to conclude this ordeal, it was the motherboard. I can honestly say I wasn't sure either way, but better the board than the CPU. So in a nutshell, if you're gonna pop a motherboard in the HP 25L Omen, I'm sure it would fit a lot better if you use the M-ATX. Like I said, I got this ITX dirt cheap. I'm not gonna sell this like this. I'm just using it just for proof of concept. As you can see, we had to use some extensions for the LED lights, for the power switch, the HD audio, and an M-ATX. I'm sure it would reach and look a lot better, and we wouldn't have to do this. So as far as my plans for this, I'm probably going to use the motherboard and CPU for my test rig. 10th gen is a lot better than my 8700, so that will work good. This is not for overclocking or anything fancy. It's just to test graphics cards and other components. And yes, even though my test bench is designed for a full ATX motherboard, yeah, this will work just fine. So another thing I want to note too, and I misquoted it, I was looking back at that video too, was that I said I built this computer. No, I did not build it. Everybody was right in the comments. I got eaten alive for that. This was a computer that was, I think I had bought it, well, the original one. I had bought it and I just upgraded, refurbished it, and sold it. So yes, I did not build this. This is just, it would be a refurbished type deal. So I apologize if I misquoted that. But other than that, this is good to go, minus the motherboard. I did get a good deal. A new CPU, graphics card, drives, memory, even the cooler. Everything works great. More parts, more things for the future, so very happy with it. So comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, concerns, criticisms. Where was your money at? Were you thinking the motherboard? Were you thinking the CPU? A lot of people kept on saying the CPU because the way it just kept on powering on. I can't say which way I was. I was either or. I mean, I've had that happen with bad CPUs, motherboards. It's hard to say. Everything's different. And what would you do with this? I mean, would you just put a new motherboard, use this case, or, you know, part it out? I don't know. If you like this video, definitely hit the like button, subscribe if you're not, and as always, we'll see what we come up with next.